Hello, friends. Welcome to Spider and Air program powered by Global Youth Foundation. And today we are going to be talking about New Resolution. My name is Sam Wanko, and
Happy New Year, everyone. This is 2024. Oh my God, that's amazing. So I'm Williams Ogwama, right? And I'm so happy to see you in this wonderful year. And we have having a beautiful discussion this day. And let's roll.
let me quickly tell you what we call New Resolution. Now, to some persons, it's a tradition. To some, it's a situation, and to others, a condition where one intentionally or deliberately set a goal for self-improvement. A situation where you just set goals, and the purpose of the goal setting is that you want to do better. It could be in your relationship, it could be in your career, it could be in your finances, it could be in your academics. Just a situation where you sit down, reflect on what you've been able to do and the areas you think you can do better. An intentional decision to do better at the beginning of the year. That's what we call New Year resolution.
I would like to say pick out two words from resolution. There is resolve and there is resolute, right? So when you look at resolve, that's like a decision that you have decided to take on.
Yeah.
So let's say means something you are doing again, right? So perhaps you are editing something and then you discover something that was not working very well and then you want to do it again. So you are resolving to do something, right? And even if you look at the word resolve, that's like solve. You are solving problem like mathematics. You are solving, something. So that's you are trying to solve something perhaps that did not work last time. So it's a resolution. So perhaps you solved it last year, it did not work. So this year you are solving the same problem. Understand? So you don't give up. You don't say it's not working again. There must be a solution to it. And so it's a resolve. And then the resolute part of it means like a doggedness, right? Like the Kochiri mindset, the I no go gree mindset, like we die here mindset, right? So we are resolute on these particular goals. The fact that it didn't work last year doesn't mean it's not gonna work this year. The fact that you didn't save money last year, the fact that you were sick throughout last year, the fact that you did not get married last year, the fact that all your goals did not work out last year. The only goal that you achieved last year was that you are alive. You know, you can actually get better this year, get go again, right? I think that's actually the purpose. Last year was a beautiful year. I think last year was the year I did a lot of travel, right? Last year I traveled a lot. Oh my God. I visited so many states I've not visited, the northern states, the western states, south, and southeast. And I lodged in lots of, hotels. So I had beautiful experiences last year. But what did not work last year? I think I got so busy that I forgot to take care of myself. So I was sick more often, right? I didn't take rest as I was supposed to. I didn't watch my meals as it's supposed to. So most times I'll just get carried away with work and it had a toll on my. So I was taking drugs, like you know, unlike me. Then another thing that didn't work out also last year was my finances, right? I did not follow the budget I said I was going to follow. You understand? So some of the I had a budget, but I didn't stick to it. I wasn't faithful in following that particular budget because I'll see some things that are flashy, nice, and I feel like this aligns, but in the long run, it doesn't really align to your goals and your purposes for the year. So and then finally there were some fears that I had. When you want to make an investment and due to fear of will it work, will it not work, it kept me back a lot last year. But I think this year we push out, fearlessly, aggressively, and we do better last year than last year, right? That's more like it.
2023. One year I will never forget in this life. Yeah. If you know me very well, you know I wouldn't actually forget 2023. I had some amazing experiences, lifetime memories that I would ever live to share with my children and everyone who comes around. But one thing about last year was the fact that we When the year started, we made beautiful plans and we made beautiful confessions. We wrote out several things in our timeline, only to find out that the government was planning for us too. So last year, at a point there was no money. At a point they said they were going for. At a point election. At several things were just happening in 2023. But the most important thing is that I at the beginning of the year, I had several projects to do, including the ones that made me to go around the country, meeting some people, talking with some authorities in education and all that. And, it was something I actually found a kind of fulfillment in at the end. It wasn't easy at all, and it's something I will never forget, having such a project. Then last year was another year that, in fact, every part of my life was affected. But one thing that I will never forget about last year is the lesson I learned, which is that you cannot be everywhere at the same time. Now, I took out time to, take my projects more serious. I'm a Christian, and for some time I've been taking out time to do some other religious stuff and all that. But in 2023, I discovered that once I became so serious with my trips and projects, flying around the whole country, just like my friend said, he was sleeping in several hotels and all that. I just discovered in several things I was involved in. I'm a Presbyterian and I'm part of the teens ministry. Though they may say I did well, but it was not up to 50% of what I planned to do in the year. Why? Because I was never present in most occasions. I was just traveling everywhere, and I was also involved, apart from the teens ministry, I was also involved in Global Foundation, as a national president. But in about, let's say, 30 to 40% of the time they needed me, I was not around because I would maybe they call me, I would say, okay, I'm in Lagos, I'm in Delta, I'm in Rivers and all that. And it's a lesson that you cannot be everywhere at the same time. Last year was a beautiful year, but then it taught me that you need to plan again, you need to plan better, and we need to balance in our plans. And another thing is, when we say man proposes and God disposes, Nigeria will also add your government will now man proposes, God disposes, then government finishes it up. Once you make your plan, last year I had an issue with budgeting. Some of the projects we did, it was based on, we just added a little inflation and then we just inflated what we did with just a little amount, a little percentage. We never thought that we would get to a point where we would use money to buy money. It happened to us last year. There were trips I budgeted like 20,000. I ended up spending up to 60,000. And it's something that Nigeria will teach you that once you plan, my brother, you do your plan, you propose. We forgot to design. Then government will now, you understand. So that was last year. A year I will never forget.
Okay, so how to appraise the past year? Like Obo, we normally say, what worked, what did not work, what can we do better? So this is just like a framework to use to find out what worked. When you find out what worked, ask what made it work. You understand? For instance, you discovered that you were healthy last year, so you need to find out what made it work. Were you resting more? Were you taking your meds? Were you going to the gym? Were you exercising frequently? What worked, right? Then what didn't work? Because the truth about no, not the truth. The transformation begins with truth telling. So you need to tell yourself the truth. What exactly did not work? And you don't need to give yourself excuses why this did not work or why. Tell yourself the truth. If you did not get it, be frank and open to yourself and admit, tell yourself you got a zero. All right. So that you have a rating, maybe let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, and you know exactly how your performance was in a particular area. And then, based on your past and your present, based on the past experience, you now know what you are going to work with in this new section. So it's going to be a very good way. So get a pen and paper, write it down. Not do it in your head. Get a pen and paper, sit down and write down these things. It will give you clarity, it will give you purpose. So do it in all areas of your finances, in your relationships, in your spiritual life, in your personal development, in your involvement with the community, and several areas. By the time you do that, it can actually help you to, get better. Finally, one important question you would like to ask yourself is, what are the 50 things I want to achieve before I die, right? So by the time you've written that kind of thing, you now know what you should focus on in this new year. If what you are planning on to do is not amongst that list, then no, you don't need to do it, because you need to be focused on doing the thing that you'll be happy to be associated with when you were alive. Just go ahead and do those things.
I think one thing important there is that first of all, your appraisal should be based on who you are and who you want to become. And that's exactly what it should focus on. It should not be based on comparison. You don't want to be anyone else. You judge yourself by yourself. Compare what you've written with what you want to be or who you want to be, and that will actually help you to appraise your year. For instance, if I'm assessing my year as a career person, it wouldn't be the same thing that somebody who is into ministry should be assessing himself. It's usually be the same basis. Maybe a pastor will be looking at, okay, how's my prayer life been? How was I able to grow my church and all that? Now, somebody who is into maybe digital marketing is looking at something else. How many audience have been able to grow? What are my handles like and all that? So something like that will actually guide you to appraise your year. Where were you the year before that year? Where you say you were going to? And then when you look at all those things, place them side by side, what is on paper with your reality, and you tell yourself the truth, it will guide you to appraisals. And their prayer should be all inclusive, it should be holistic. For instance, you can't just focus on, let's say, relationship. You say, okay, last year I was able to marry. I think you're fulfilled now, you've achieved your relationship goal. Now, what happens to your finances? What happened to your spiritual life? What happened to your academics? What happened to your career? Now, how about your relationship with people? What have you been able to build in that dimension? So, such things could actually form your basis for your appraiser when it comes to appraising the new year. Just like I actually said during the appraiser, you take note of who you want to be in terms of everything. So you're setting up a goal for the new year or making your new year resolution. In relationship, what do you want to see at this point of your life? In your academics, if you're still in school or you want to go for something bigger, what do you expect? In your finances, what do you expect? So it should be a way of you sitting down and to look at every course fair of life. Look at your life and what you really want to obtain in every core area of life. Now, when you look at all those things now, it will actually form the basis of what you should be looking at to set your new year resolution. You understand what I'm talking about? So that is what it's supposed to be. So you don't just bring up a paper, then you start writing things that will frustrate you. Then you go back to tick, and out of the 10 things you've written, you've been able to achieve one and a half. You frustrate your life, frustrate the paper you've used and the pen, and it will not be funny at all. So don't mind me.
Talking about New Year resolutions, and if they work, some say they don't work. The truth is, even if it doesn't work, every company sets New Year resolution. So if you don't set yours, that the company will set theirs for you and put you under pressure to do that. And so if you don't have yours, you will just end up achieving the company's purpose, and you not have anyone for yourself. That's why it's actually good for you to have a plan, a goal, a resolution, a plan. Just have the direction that you are following in this year. And by the time you've done your assessment for the past year and you've known what to do, one of the things that people do, that makes them not to be effective, is that they are not really consistent with their plans. So they set a goal of what they want to achieve, but there are no daily actions to take place.
Yeah,
so no timeline. Yes, no timeline. Their goals are not smart, because consistency is actually the key to achieving what you want to do, right? So let's say you want to finish 30 a book per month, and then there is no amount of time stipulated every day of how many pages you are going to read. That's not achievable, because you just hope that one day you reach and before you know it, the month has ended and you've not read any book, or maybe it's 2 days to end the month, and you start rushing the whole page just so that you can take your goals. You discover it doesn't work. So consistency is very important. Ensure that in your plan for the year, have a goal that is consistent, that you can follow, action plans that are daily, that are weekly, that are monthly, so that they can be measurable. Any goal that is not measurable cannot be attained.
In your goal setting too, always remember that your health is important. So don't be so fast to include everything and exclude your health. It's very, very essential. And remember, the goal is an all-round improvement. You want to do better. You can only do better when you're healthy. Otherwise, you can have the best goals and achieve only your sleeping and waking up and taking your drugs on your bed. So take your health very serious in setting up. And then your spiritual well-being too. Your spiritual well-being is something you don't joke with. When you're setting your goal for 2024, include your spiritual plans too.
If you are on a fresh start, the first thing is it's never too late to start afresh. It's never too late to start afresh. There was one of the questions we asked during our corporate training is what were the things that you would have done better if you were 10 years old? So let's assume that there's a time time is it speed time, if you back time, I don't know if that English is correct. So, like, if you are given the opportunity to do, travel back in time, and you are to do better, what are those things you would do better? What are the things you have learned? What are the things? And you discover that so many persons say they would have sought mentorship, they would have dared new things, they would have obeyed their parents, they would have learned a new skill and things like that. And one thing we discovered is, even after they have listed those problems, if you meet them again in the next 10 years, those problems will still be there because they feel it's too late for them to start. So it's not too late to learn a skill. It's not too late to get a mentor. It's not too late to become financially literate. So these are actually things that you need to understand, that you can start now. Don't wait and don't give up on yourself. Don't cancel yourself and tell yourself it's not possible again. You can still learn how to ride a car. You can still get married. You can still find love again. You can still do love God again after several times you've tried and failed, right? So the most important thing is to have a goal and work towards your, it's not, it doesn't matter how many times you failed, it doesn't matter how many times it's not worked, but as long as you have a goal, just keep pushing towards it. And as much as possible, get a mentor, get someone that is, even if he's an accountability partner, someone that can help you and say, okay, you are doing, I'm checking up on you, I'm trying to know if you're actually fulfilling these things that you say you want to do, not just doing it on your own. You've tried it on your own and it hasn't worked, get someone to help you. If he needs you to pay, make that payment. Don't look for free things, don't look for just free mentorship, don't look for free accountability partners. Make sacrifices towards building that relationship to make it work, and you will discover so much more than you've achieved in the previous years.
First of all, let me say that it is worse to live a regret throughout your life than to try and fail. Try a new thing and fail. So the worst thing you can do for yourself is to live all your life in regret. And then it is even worse if it is something that can be reversed, if something that you can still go back and change. For instance, there are situations of life that you can actually go back and change some of the things you've done. Maybe you went to the university and studied this course you think is a wrong course, and now you think your eyes have opened. And but you still go around telling people that why you don't have a job, why you cannot do this because of the course you studied. Now it's not a big deal to go and write jam again and start afresh. So there are things that you can really go back and start afresh instead of living all your life in regret. So just know that you can always start afresh. So when you have that mentality, first of all, it will be very easy for you to now say, okay, what are the things I'm going to be looking at when I want to start afresh? Like I've always been saying since we started, know where you're going to. Realization is just like, to some persons, it's just like you're waking up and you're now facing the reality. You are like, okay, I've known the truth, I've seen the truth, my eyes of understanding, I've been enlightened, and now I want to make a new move. Where are you moving to? What are you expecting from there? What are the things I need from there? So once you discover the fact that it is possible to start afresh, then look for the right things that you need to start afresh. Look for the right association, the right environment, and don't go back making the same mistakes that you're regretting presently. It will guide you enough to do the necessary things you need to do. And you discover that, somebody was telling us a story the other time on social media about someone who graduated from a particular school. He studied engineering, spent 5 years, went for youth service. Then after youth service, he was telling his friend that he would go and write jam again to study medicine. He just graduated from the medical school, I think last year. And this particular person I'm talking about now, his mates, some of his mates are still in, in the labor market looking for job. He's not a medical doctor, he's an engineer. He not just study any kind of engineering, he studied chemical engineering, you know, but he just made up his mind to go again. So there's always an opportunity to go again. There's always an opportunity to say, okay, these are the things I got wrong when I went for the first time. I don't need to follow this path again. I'm correcting everything. Sometimes they ask us a question like, okay, if I'm to take you, but just like my friend William said, if we give you 10 years from the time you've wasted, what are the things you're going to do? Those things that you think that are mistakes that are holding you back, you should be able to avoid them, and that will give you a kind of leverage and speed. And then you cannot compete with people that are in the same lane with you at that particular point. Why? Because you're coming with bulk of experience. So always gotta know that it is possible to start afresh. There's no habit you cannot change. There's no life that have so spoiled that nothing else can be done about the life again. There is no attitude you cannot change. There's always room for you to start afresh. So you make up your mind in 2024 that you are going again, and this time around you are going bigger. You are going with the right tools, and everything is going to work out better. Such a mindset will make you to flourish, to move, with speed, to move as a person of value, and you're going to enjoy 2024, to tell you the truth. All right, friend. So we talked about New Year resolution, and I hope you've learned one or two things. Before we say goodbye today, I want to advise you, if this clip you just watched added any value to your life, there's a friend out there that wants to see this too, that needs to see this too. So click the like button, share it. Just keep sharing, let people know about it. And you can join us in any of our meeting centers, no matter especially if you're in Nigeria, ask about us. Our contact is there. Just call us and then join us in any of our meetings, and you get more value for your life. You can also join us in our annual camp meeting. Thank you so much, and do have a wonderful time anywhere you are. Bye-bye.
Bye.